recently constructed the road linking Abia State and Akwa State. It is even easier for people who are going to Oruchukwu to travel through our airport than going to where our travel. So as a result of that, in terms of passenger flow, I think it is very encouraging, and that the airline, I want to say, is a limited liability company and will be run professionally. I've heard somebody saying the other day that government doesn't need to engage in business. But what I want to say is that in the world over, there are certain strategic investment that government usually do in certain area of business to attract investors to come in. This airline will be run professionally, and that is the way it's going to be, to make profit, because it's a limited liability company.
So it is completely owned by the Akwa State government?
It is completely owned by the Akwa State government, but over time, you know, the governor is from the private sector and financial services sector for that matter. There is a way over time that will be opened up for Akwa Ibom children who has the financial resources, you know, to take it over time. But for now, government can go into the development to fill the gap, you know, that is being created in terms of availability of flights for our people. So that's what the government is doing.
So, Commissioner, Ibom Air has brought a lot of excitement in the air, and there has been also concerns on when actually Akwa Ibom people can actually begin to fly this airline. So, when will we get to see the aircraft? You know, some people are like Thomas. They must touch the aircraft, get inside the aircraft, fly in it, confirm that it is Ibom Air written on it.
I think the Thomases are on the other side. Okay? Because, you know, the airline business is a critical business that all due process, safety standards, and everything that is required to be done must be done before. Like I told you, we have the aircraft, because if the aircraft comes today, it will not fly if you don't have the crew in place. And the airline industry is not something that you just take pleasure, just bring the plane to park. But once it arrives today, work must start. So that's why we have carefully put in place the structure that is going to allow the airline function in terms of flight operations, ground operations, and the rest of them. Like I told you earlier, yeah, the process that I told you ongoing is the training of both the ground staff, the cabin executive, because like I said, we want to have a different culture, drawing from the mistakes that have been made in other similar organizations, to make sure that we correct it and have an airline that will be very efficient, that will be very prompt in terms of the flight operations. So I want to assure you that we are doing everything to make sure that it starts on time. But you can, you know, deduce from the fact that now that we have the training, you know, training is between 1 to 3 weeks, you know. When one part is done, we are ready, plane comes in. But I'm happy that you have seen it. The plane you have seen in the internet is not a model. And while you've seen it, that it's been painted to Akwa Ibom color. So they are coming.
Do we have a time frame to expect the beginning?
That's one thing, that training of these various category of staff that I've told you is ongoing and will be completed in the next 3 weeks. So after that we can now, and mind you, know that when we are floating a new airline, first of all, when the plane comes, the planes need to fly the various routes that it will go with the crew. That is, when once that is done, the regulatory authority will give final certification, and then we are set to go.
So we can say that soon, at the soonest possible
very,
time.
very soon.
Very soon, yes. That flight will take off. But there's a very hilarious question I want to ask our Commissioner. For those who are joining us, we're already beginning to get messages from Facebook, and we'll be asking the questions accordingly. Commissioner, this airline story took quite some people by storm. I mean, you didn't keep us in the loop about this development. It just came from nowhere, and you said, are there other projects like that you have not revealed quite some people, and you just want to take us by surprise?
Let me tell you something, because you know, you have to study the environment. Our people are always very happy to receive good things that are coming to the state, and so the excitement is well placed. For me and for those of us that are involved in it, we even were thinking it could be possible for private people to just wake up, you know,
and then they announce flight depression.
But that wasn't possible, because even from the publication of the advert for the recruitment, okay, although some people still believe it was a scam, and when we were in the House of Assembly, questions were asked about the provisions that we made, and at that point we will have last to make disclosure. This is what we have done. Otherwise, I'm sure maybe up to now nobody would have known anything about it, and you just wake up and you see the plan. But I'm very happy for our people. It has shown that the governor is well loved by people because of the excitement and the way people have received this project. That Akwa people like good things, and they love themselves. They love this governor. That's why they are looking forward eagerly. But I want to assure you, this is not a scam. The airline has come to stay. Employment opportunity will be given to our people, and what we are doing is to make sure that at least 80% of the people that are involved in it are from our state. And at the end of the day, it will be easy for people to come into our state. It's going to increase the tourism potential of our state, because these days it will be possible to go to Lagos the same day and come back the same day. Just the same thing like going to Abuja the same day and coming back. And you know that for people who don't have any need to sleep over and incur hotel expenditure in Abuja or Lagos, they can just fly in, finish their business, and come back to the state. So I believe it's a very good project that will significantly affect the economic life of our state.
All right, thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for shedding light on Ibom Air and indeed all the other projects that you've talked about. It's time to engage the audience and to also ask questions. We have quite a lorry look of messages. We'll just begin to take them. And the gentlemen of the press, those who have questions, please begin to package them. We'll be taking the first four at the first instance. We'll try to make it short, and when some other person has asked a question, please we appeal that you do not re-ask the question. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner. I am Defreke James. I'm watching from Qatar. Wow. My question is that the basic amenities is what we really need, like light, road, education. My village for the past 2 years we promised light, but up till now we do not have. Nothing has been done. In case you want to check, I am from Ikore, the village in Ejimeko. Someone from Qatar, Defreke, wants light in his village.
Defreke, thank you very much for our question. I think in terms of electricity, the government of Akwa Ibom State under His Excellency Governor Dememandua has invested significant capital in that sector, and that's why there has been an improvement in the availability of electricity in the state. But for Ejimeko, I'm sure maybe because of what happened in the last couple of months, that is why electricity we've not been able to sort out. But given the fact that the governor, who is a peace-loving person, who has done everything to bring peace in Ejimeko, that now that there's peace in that environment,
and the youth will allow these installations to
and then I'm quite sure that it's going to be a thing of the past.
Okay, we'll now take questions. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the first instance. Let me begin with Courage Mbon. Please just you would mention your name and possible medium and keep the questions very sharp.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner. My name is Corey Jumbo. I write for News 360. I want to ask on Ibom Air. A lot of persons have said things about it, so much as we said about it, and you've also said a lot about it. First question I want to ask Honorable Commissioner. Going through the budget last year, or even the previous years, there were no provisions, if I'm right, for the Ibom Air. So is this an extra budgetary expense? That is one. Number two, sir, we know the processes. I'm happy to hear that in Tower, because I expressed that fear to people that people might play politics with this, because the technicalities are not everything required to make sure this flight takes off. So I would also want to commend him if he actually is giving the support this project deserves. But I would want you to put a time frame, Honorable Commissioner, to this. On what date exactly will this flight take off? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. The first question is on the budgetary provision. I want to say that if you go through the year 2018 budget, adequate provision was made for the airline, and it's also there for this year's estimate. And then, you know, this fixation on timelines, I've given you that we are doing training now. Training would last for 3 weeks, and that once that is done, that means the aircraft comes in, the regulatory authority comes in for a flight to the different routes with the crew without any passenger, and that once that is done, we are ready to go.
So 1 month, 2 months.
What I think it is not all incumbent alone on the Akwa Ibom State government, yes, because others are involved. So the moment the process.
So what I want to assure you is that, like I said earlier, because of issues like this, it would have been, if it was possible to make sure that we do not mention it, you just wake up and go to the airport, you see plane flying. Maybe that one you see is a miracle. But I want to assure you, we are doing everything to make sure that we get that airline up and running within the shortest possible time.
Okay, we take one female.
My name is Ibom, National Mary of Daily Independence. I remember when the federal government some years back purchased some aircraft, and the rumor was that these were old aircraft and safety concerns were raised. Please let us know, are these aircraft or have they been used for a while?
In the aviation industry, I know that even currently in Nigeria, you have some aircraft that are 32 years still flying. But I want to tell you that if we have a fleet that has aircraft with a 6-year-old, I think it's a very, very young fleet.
Okay. So the aircrafts are sound.
That's what I'm telling you. I've given you an example. I say if you have 32 years still flying and you have between 6 to 10 years, I think it's a very young fleet.
Absolutely. Okay. Steve.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Steve Bubia. I want to say that I want to be one of the designated passengers of the inaugural flight. Because really, you said there are Thomases. I'm not a Thomas, but I can prove to Thomas that if I have prepared to enter, a lot of people trust my opinion. So I think if I have prepared to enter that flight, everybody would love to come to Ibom A. But I want to please beg, when you are setting up these things, you should give us incentives and Akwa Ibomites. You said 80% comes to us. Please, give us incentives as we want this airline to grow. And the more flights you have, the more passengers, the more the probability that it will last and last and last. Because passengers make the business grow, clients. So please, thank you for setting up Ibom Air. Thank the governor for us. Me, I fly a lot. I would love to fly Akwa Ibom. And thank you, sir, again for giving me the opportunity.
I want to.
Are there incentives if I present my certificate of origin? Do I get lesser time flight?
Let me tell you, like I stated earlier, it's going to be run like any private company, limited liability company, to make sure that the passengers are safe, and that for every airline that you fly now, I'm sure you buy your ticket before you go there. So that is the same way it's going to be. But you can be rest assured that in terms of being prompt, efficiency, that you are going to have one of the best airlines that you can think of in this country.
All right, we're having so many hands. We'll try and accommodate. I think we'll take 2 questions in one. Nebet Francis has been up. I'm trying to mix the sex as well.
Good morning, sir. My name is Nebet Francis. I'm an online influencer. You did mention that the government has constructed about 1,700 kilometers of road, and someone just asked, what is the distance between from Akwa Ibom to Ghana? Now, this has been a controversy that has been there over time. So how do we help them understand that this is how we calculate, this is how we do the measurement, how we do the calculation, to help them so that they will not misinform the people who don't know?
Okay, well, just unfortunately, I've never gone to Ghana by road. But if you take, for example, the Ibom road, is a dualized way. So if you want to measure the kilometers of construction, it's going to be times 2. If it is 50 kilometers, for example, it's going to be 100 kilometers. If you take, for example, your Ibom road, the portion that have been done, they are also going to be times 2. If you go to Etinan to Una, the same thing, and various roads. Like I told you, apart from even what the Ministry of Work is doing, I've just mentioned to you the various roads that have been undertaken by the Ministry of Special Duties. So that is the way to calculate the kilometers. It's not going to be like from here to Ghana.
If you were to go around Akwa Ibom through those roads, someone will go to Ghana first and will arrive at the same time.
Of course,
if you
that is assuming that it
yes,
that is assuming that it is 1,700 kilometers to Ghana.
Yes. So if you begin here and go through all those roads that have been done, you will still be at the same time.
Yes.
I think. It can be Simon.
So severally, you've intimated us about the debt that 4.5 shares in operation, and the last one, December 2018, that has lapsed. Now, when are we actually expecting that hotel to kickstart operation? That's the first one. For us to be successful in this airline that we're about starting, it's imperative we consider the patronage and the number of persons that report to want to fly through that airport. So now that we have Ibom airline coming on board, what will be the fate of Ghana AP that are actually using that airport?
Let me start from your last question. You remember there was a time you used to have aero contractors coming here, Arik Air coming here. I think there was another Sky airline coming here. You have Dana, you have APs coming. There were 5 airlines coming, and flights from here to Abuja and Lagos were always very full. For today, you have Dana that comes twice or 3 times a week, and APs that comes daily. You can see there's a shortfall of availability of flights. These airlines will fill that gap. And on the issue of the opening day, you are married? Are you married? Okay, so don't make it, because why I'm asking, because it's been very particular. Maybe you want to use the banquet hall there for your wedding reception. Because I'm sure, I don't know, as whether as at the last time we spoke, whether you have gone there. For us, we have done everything. You go there today, there's an access road, the car park, everything, has been completed. But we want to, because when you keep on asking this question, if it was for me, I can go there and start operation. But remember, you have a manager of the hotel. And like I stated before, this hotel before now was to be managed by Starwood Group. Starwood Group was recently acquired by the Marriott Group. And you know, when there is merger and acquisition, there's a lot of bookkeeping, you know, that you need to do, paperwork, and that for businesses that will run it, it is sometimes not much easy to allow them to plug and play. But for the one that they want to start, they want to make sure that it meets the new manager's standard. And I want to thank the governor for ensuring that every issue that was raised by the Marriott Group, it has been tackled. You know, if you go there, there are days that I spend the night there trying to make sure that, because they want to see that in the night all the lights are working. They want to see that everything is in good condition. But I'm happy to tell you that we have crossed this, solve all these problems, and that given the fact that we just came out from a holiday period, you know, people in America, in Europe, they don't play with their holidays, and that beginning from this week, we are going to sort, because they are coming over again for final inspection. But once that is done, we are good to go. It is for me, I will be very happy, you know, to get that hotel open. But as a government, as a ministry, we've done all what we are required to do, and that is why, as even last week, because one of the conditions they gave was that the access road, you know, should be done. And I'm sure the people that are watching us here, you see a properly tarred road has been done, linking that hotel from the Korikpene end to the Abak Road end. So I can understand your anxiety, but don't worry. Very soon, just tell the madam to hold on to your wedding reception there.
Okay, there's a gentleman behind, please.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
Congratulations on your jazz right as far as the ministry is concerned. Still on the air, you've said that
Your name and your video.
Yeah, by the state government. My name is Ibom. I write for the district magazine. You said that the project will be managed by the state government. Now the issue is this: we can't preempt the future. How about if we have a new government who is not interested in investing in this project? And what happens to the fate of the transfer?
I did not say it will be managed by the state government. I said it's a limited liability company and will be managed in line with the corporate governance that is applicable to limited liability companies.
It doesn't affect the ownership.
It does not affect the ownership.
Okay, I think that has been handled. Basif Record.
I'm Basif Record. My name, Times Dispatch newspaper. So let me still lean in and ask a follow-up to what last speaker asked. We have had the management structure of the airline. Now, could you tell us the specifics what the operational structure will be like? Because we are aware that the state government still has some limited liability companies like the Akwa Water Company Limited. We know the fate of that. So what would be the operational structure that will make the airline viable even after the administration of Mr. Ibom? That's one. Two, that there has been concerns about the 21-story building. I'm happy that you have told us our day yesterday, and it's true that we are on the 14th floor. Now, we have some particles of government that are still being housed in rented apartments. And here we are talking about a facility that would make profits, that we give it out to for the states to make profits. So how do you reconcile that when we still have particles of government being housed in private facilities, then you have a structure like this and you want to give it out? The third one is, we have a private jet. When our airline is operational, we will have to struggle with the maintenance of the airline and a private jet. Should we expect the state government to commercialize the private jet so that we can as well raising money, because we are looking for money. We don't know what will happen from 2019. So do we expect the state government to commercialize the private jet, or will it still be managed specifically for different families?
What I'd like to say, I want to start from your last question. You are talking about the jet will be managed by private people the way it has been managed in the past. But for the airline, it's a business concern, and it's going to be run professionally to achieve the objective from the process for which it was set up. And I want to start marketing for the airline. I think it will be a disservice to all of you to travel to Lagos or Abuja through any other means, even by road. You must fly now. You don't have any choice. You have a good airline that is available for you. You are talking about the accommodation. I think the government of Akwa Ibom State, under His Excellency Governor Demanda, has significantly reduced the number of government, parastatal and other agency staying in a rented apartment. You know, recently, upon assumption of office, he ensured the completion of the 20th anniversary hotel building and Udonova, and converted it to the Secretariat Annex, where a lot of these government establishments were moved into. Like I stated earlier, this edifice, the 21-story building, is not for government ministries, because I doubt if government ministries will be able to afford it. But it's strictly for the private sector that will be able to afford it. But I'm happy to tell you that there have been a lot of interest from the private sector in terms of occupancy of the building even before it is completed. So I believe that this is an investment that will generate revenue for the state government. And apart from that, the kind of industries and companies that we expect to stay here, they will also add to the economic value of the state. And my view, we are the #1 producing state, oil producing state in this country. I don't know if it doesn't bother you that NNPC, PPMC, NAPIMS, DPR, for those of you who own petrol stations, are you aware they do not have even a kiosk in this state? And the excuse that they have been given was that we don't have office facilities. So this has been provided, and I believe there will be no such excuse anymore. When they come, their employees will also add to the revenue of the state in form of pay that they will be paying, and the rest of them. So it is a very good project. And your last question, first question was on the operational structure. I want to tell you that every industry, they have the structures that is alive, and that the airline will run in line with the structures approved for airline to operate in Nigeria. But I want to assure you that given the level of exposure of our people, that we have competent hands to run this airline to serve the purpose for which it was established. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we may not take all the questions. We'll just take the last 2 or 3. You know, your manner is up. And then I'll take Reverend Peters. I think we'll end with that because we've had a very long day. We won't exhaust all the questions, but I think we'll catch up on Mr. Mana.
Thank you all, Commissioner. Congratulations. I want to congratulate you. My name is Idolin Mana. SubNigeria.com. I want to congratulate the state governor on the Ibom Air. Mr. Commissioner, I work as an operations manager of an airline for about 6 years. And the problem we have with airline, once you have political interference, somebody wants to travel and call the governor, please give me ticket, or whoever is in charge, give me ticket. you have 115 passengers in an aircraft, but only 50 pay, and the money, the money for the 50 is used to buy the aviation fuel, service, all this, and by the time you do that in 1 month, you see that the aircraft will not even be able to go for servicing. I want to advise at the Akwa also that whoever is coming to manage the airline should be devoid of political sensitivity. He should not. Nobody should take politics. If any public servant wants to fly that aircraft and does not have money immediately, he writes a note, leave with the auditors. Once his money is ready, his money is taken from source. Because the same thing that killed Le Meridian for 10 years is still alive in Akwa.
ID, thank you for your contribution. But I want to assure you that this airline, like most of the, buying your ticket will be online. There is no issue of IOU. You need to pay, get your ticket before you board the flight. It is not a social services.
Or a charity organization?
Yes, it's not. You have to pay your flight ticket and then you board the flight. There's no issue. It's not. It's a limited liability company. It's not run by the governor. So the issue of somebody calling the governor to give him will not arise, or the operator. Okay. Thank you.
Reverend Peters, then Iman Sam will wrap it up there.
Thank you.
Let me see the reverends first. Okay.
Thank you, the Honorable Commissioner. I want to congratulate you on your giant strides, and I want to pray that the Almighty God will keep this government to complete their 8 years in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Honorable Commissioner, some of the projects that you're mentioning has been started during the last administration, and monies were disbursed for those projects, like the Sheraton Hotel and Tropicana and so many other roads. Now we are seeing some documents coming out how monies, contracts were signed, and within a twinkle of an eye, it was increased to multiple figures. How are we going to do? Is the state government going to put in other money? Is there any other money that is going to be put into it? Or is the state government going to recover the monies that were already disbursed? What are we going to do? Because we need to know where our money what is being used to.
Thank you,
Reverend. Thank you,
man of God. I think, you know, in government or either in the private sector, when there's a budgetary provision and there are releases, it must be accounted for. And I thank God for Nigeria, because we have set up several agencies to make sure that both in the private sector and in the public sector, things are properly done. I have no doubt that the right thing will be done, that if monies were appropriated and released for a project and they were not executed, these agencies will move in to do what they are supposed to do. So I believe in them, and I'm very certain that they will not allow Akwa Ibom State Government to double spend on such projects. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The very last one, Iman Sam.
Commissioner, thank you for a wonderful media interaction. I want to ask you a very simple question. Number one, you just mentioned that it's your business. Is your party chairman aware of this? Because I'm talking about when they did the flight for national convention. And because they are going to be a loyal party man, which I don't know. How are you going to reconcile that? Is your party aware that it's coming next?
Well, what I want to say is that this is not the first time we have been going for convention. And it's on record that when people... I'm coming. It's on record that when we go for convention, I don't think there's any airline that we are owing. We pay and our people go for convention and come back. I want to re-emphasize, Ibom Airline is a limited liability company and will run just like what is obtainable in the aviation industry. There is no airline in the world that people run by not paying money. So it's going to be pay for your services that such issue will not arise. The airline belongs to Akwa Ibom people. It doesn't belong to my party chairman or my party. It is for all Akwa Ibom sons and daughters and Nigerians and the world in general. So that issue will not arise because it is going to be run professionally, and it is a standard practice in the industry that before you board your plane, you must have paid for your ticket, and you go to the counter and you get your boarding pass, or you do it online. So I don't think such issue will arise.
We are talking about people being under training.
Yes. Yes.
And we are in training, and what is that training? And is it outside, or is it studying outside to go and train? And so we have also experienced that most time we have people training, and after training, we discover that not all of them are we going to, are you sure that all of them being on the that is going on the training will be part of the process?
What I can say is that with the number of aircraft that we plan to deploy and the routes that we'll be servicing, there's a number of crew that is required. And we are doing exactly the number that we will require, but we're also building some redundancies. We are not just taking people for taking sake. There's no point hiring people that you will not need. So the management of the airline is very strict in ensuring that we go for the best. And I'm quite happy that we have very brilliant young Akwa Ibom people who excel both at the aptitude test level and at the interview level and have been recruited.
Was there a recommendation letter from any particular
I want to tell you this, that there is no interference by government, no recommendation, because it is not a government parastatal. Like I said, it's a limited liability company, and everything is done on merit. And mind you, it's a very critical industry that one little mistake can cause a major damage. So professionalism is at the forefront of it.
Okay, thank you, Man Sam. He asked for one question, he asked over 10 of them, and we really thank you. We still have a little gap to take very few questions. Darlington Rodobon, your hand has been up. Near Bedantia, no, Mike, you just thought about your question. Near Bed 1, Darlington 2,
the lady,
and the lady. I think that should wrap it up, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes.
Begin with Darlington.
Good morning, sir.
I want to know, in 2009, the previous administration launched what they call airline company then, and between 2009 and 2014, the sum of 1 billion naira was anticipated for procurement. So I want to know if the air continuation of the airline company or a separate.
Thank you. What I like to say is that yes, government is a continuum, and in 2009 I wasn't here, so I may not be able to speak, in that direction. But what I want to assure you is that we have an airline, Ibom Air, which is 100% funded by Ibom State Government under His Excellency Governor Emmanuel. And the focus is not the fanfare. You remember the governor had promised to create employment opportunities for our people. And like I said, through this airline, we are going to have over 400 direct and indirect jobs for our people.
Okay, I think that has been answered. Nebet.
Good afternoon, sir.
of the nation.
Publisher of Del Nigeria. Please, I want to
What
ask
magazine?
Publisher of Del Nigeria newspaper.
Okay, okay.
Please, I want to ask, are we still going to have car assembling plants in this one?
Okay, that issue, you know, this is what has happened to Nigeria because of the way things are going. And the assembling plan was not floated by government, it was from the private sector. And recall that at the time that plan was being conceived by the promoters, we had a naira to dollar exchange rate of 1 to 186. But at the advent of the present federal government, you had dollars going over to 600 naira to $1, and it became very, very difficult for anybody, any private enterprise, to embark on such business. But I'm happy that with the way that the dollar has stabilized at about 360 something, the investors have come back. We are talking, and we are hopeful that that will come to pass. So that's where we are. Hope is not lost.
All right, the lady.
Honorable Commissioner, I'm Chairman of the Manga newspapers. Honorable Commissioner, my question is a little, but Akwa Ibom people, most of them actually appreciate what this government has been doing. But some of them are concerned that most of these projects, these capital projects, government don't actually give out the amount that these projects are, the cost of the bill of these projects. I want you to react to this.
Like which project?
Most of the projects, on railroad projects, all these other, like the one you do, they don't know how much is committed into this project.
Okay. I'm sure there's no way, because if you ask questions, remember the way Nigeria is today, you have the freedom of information to ask. Am I right? So there's no information that you need. Government is open now. There's no information that you need. But I don't expect that you will tell me to give you the amount of the 1,700 kilometers of road that have been constructed, or the amount of the money that the airline is ongoing. You know, it's ongoing. But what I want to tell you is that we don't spend outside what is in the budget. We don't spend outside what is in the budget. Last year there was a provision, we have heard to it. This year there's a provision for it, we will work by that. So the issue of costing is not hidden. The government of His Excellency Governor Emmanuel is very transparent and accountable in the way government business is being done.
And I think we also add that audited accounts are also published.
Yes,
from time to
she
time.
wants to know. Maybe they won't list, but there is no ministry in this government that if you want to find out what is the cost of the project that I do, that you will not get, because transparency and accountability is a major pillar and cardinal program of this government.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Gentlemen of the press, audience members, we thank everybody for this great time, but there is no way we can come talk government and not talk politics, Honorable Commissioner, because you are not only an administrator, you're also a politician, and politics, they say, is very local. So we're rounding up on a political note, because this is an election year, and this new year media hangout cannot fail to address political issues. Honorable Commissioner,
that's right.
You are an Akwa Ibom person, and you are mobilizing support for your political party for elections in February and March, and you are from Itu local government area. Let me begin from Akwa Ibom State. You tell us about the direction politically and why you think your party will win. And in the second leg of that question, your House of Assembly member recently defected to another political party, and he has sworn that you will not have any vote in that local government area. Our Commissioner, is that true? Have you accepted that outcome?
Well, what I want to say is that in life, people who are not certain of themselves, they're not sure of themselves, they live a life of deception, self-deception. That means believing that they are something when they are nothing. I think in 2019, a lot of people believe it will not come. It has come. Election will be done and we will know which party is on ground. For my local government area, I believe and I know so that the PDP is rooted. We are on ground. The man that you said, okay, our former, because we don't have a House of Assembly member as we speak, because the court has declared that seat vacant. You know, there are certain people who cannot function under a very organized and structured environment because of their very low self-esteem. So they will always want to cause problems. Why did he defect? Because he found out that he has failed the people. He has failed the people of the local government in terms of representing them in the House of Assembly.
But he did constituency briefing.
Well, constituency briefing that the cats are still in the police station that was not given to anybody. So I think his fear of failing the nomination of the party, because he knew that he could not get even a single delegate. That is why he had to jump ship. But I want to tell you that the people are very happy. You know, like if you have a virus somewhere, you can imagine the damage that it will cause. Have you not witnessed peace into local government since he jumped ship? Because he believed he will always cause problem so that he can, in the midst of that problem, he will sneak the way people will not see him. But the people are very happy, and that could be shown. On the 30th of last month, we did an end of year party for all our party people in it. And I can assure you that who is who of politics in the local government was there. And this is a yearly event. I'm sure that same man you are talking about, inside his house, he must have been crying while that program was going on, because he knows that it is not just by talking. Election has come, 2019 has come, so yes, let him be. He's going to be in his own ward to vote, and also come to my own ward to vote, and go to the 92 units that we have in the local government, so that he will take all the votes. I think you can see his mentality. I don't believe that is an issue that I should waste my time.
So it is PDP.
PDP and PDP is in it too.
Okay, so we come to Akwa Ibom, and I throw this one of my last questions to you. Your former boss, His Excellency Senator Kwabio, former governor of Akwa Ibom, you served under his administration.
Yes. And
I presume you know him.
Yes.
And you've also said, previously that he's a fine politician, a great mobilizer. You called him the great teacher, and that great teacher says he wants your current boss out of that office in the next few months for not performing well. So what's your assessment? Is he no longer the great teacher? Has he lost powers? And why will you succeed this time around?
Well, what I like to say is that we are talking about teachers.
Yes.
I'm sure today we have new and improved ways of teaching. Yeah, it's true. There were days and sometimes that the teachers will use chalk and blackboard to teach. But I'm sure today you have other teachers that are digital. They use laptop. So what I want to say is that I don't think my former boss, in his very good sense, frame of mind, will say that Governor Emmanuel has not done well. Governor Emmanuel has done well. And like you said, he identified him. He saw something in him. God used him to identify a man that has brought peace to this state, a man who has brought development to this state. I don't think that is right, because Governor Odome Emmanuel has done well in Akwa Ibom State. He has delivered on his campaign promises. If you look at even on TV, on social media, how is it possible for a man that the former governor used to pour encomium, is the best that what has gone wrong that suddenly is not the best again, when the man is doing what is good for our Ibom people, is delivering on democratic dividend for our people. So I believe that there is something wrong, and when it comes to the issue of performance, I don't think there's anybody here in this state that will fault that Governor Odome Emmanuel has not done well. He has not done well by bringing 13 industries. He has not done well by opening an airline. He has not done well by the number of roads he has constructed. Or is it by continuing the compulsory education and free medical care to pregnant and young children under the age of 5, under an economy that we have lost over 70% of the revenue that's coming to the state? And one would say it's not done well. He has not done well by paying gratuity to local government workers for 10 years that was not paid by the previous government. He has not done well by paying workers' salaries promptly, and pensioners are being paid up to date. No, I think there's something wrong. The truth has not been told. But I believe that all of you, and I know you also believe that Governor Odome Emmanuel has done well, and he deserves a second term. And I have no doubt, because all of you are voters in this country, that you are going to vote Governor Odome Emmanuel so that he can continue with the good work that is being in Akwa Ibom State. So I think my former boss, I'm quite sure, is not saying that from deep inside him. He knows that he brought a good product to Akwa Ibom State, and that product are not disappointed Akwa Ibom people.
Well, no, as a follow-up, it's estimated he has a large followership and has jumped to the other party. So, does he still have that same followership to affect? Because politics is a game of numbers. Can he affect the outcome of the next general elections with that followership that is believed?
He is not standing for governorship election.
But he's supporting someone very strongly, and he has said to dump that structure for his
who is he supporting?
Mr. Chimakere.
That is the same person he said was not good, and he forced him out of the government. No, there must be something wrong, There must be something wrong, because you cannot say something that you use your hand and say this man was not good. Okay? And after how many years? When there are new ways of doing things now, younger generations are coming up with new ideas and of doing better things, I believe you can't say that. Okay, if you look at it, this same person that is being brought out today was the chairman of Akwa, am I right?
Sure.
And there was a promise of one industry, the local government. Did we have it? No, I'm asking you people, we are here. Did we have the industry? Nothing.
Not even one.
But that is the same person that is supporting now. I think there is something wrong, but it is only God that is going to save us. That I'm very happy with the campaign slogan of His Excellency, which is only God. Only God is going to save us, because we cannot be talking from two sides of the mouth.
But are you afraid of federal might?
Federal might?
That's talking about the security agencies and the election umpire.
Election umpire.
Do you have faith in that structure on election day?
I have faith in the people of Akwa Ibom State. The Akwa Ibom people are going to vote for His Excellency Governor Odome Emmanuel, and I think when federal might comes, the federal might will see God's might, and I know God's might is better, bigger than federal might. So I don't think anybody should be intimidated. This election is clearly for the will of God to continue to manifest in Akwa Ibom State. The peace that we are experiencing the industries that we are witnessing in Akwa Ibom State will continue. You see, Akwa Ibom people that I know, they know what is good and what is bad. And they have chosen to stay with Governor Demi Manuel because Governor Demi Manuel is transparent and is doing things that is adding to the lives of Akwa Ibom people. So I don't believe, man can boast. But at the end of the day, it is God that will, whatever is the will of God. But I want to say, just that the governor has said, that in this 2019, the manifestation of the glory of God is what will prevail in Akwa Ibom State, not the boasting of man. So I am very certain, unless Jesus comes tomorrow, I'm very certain God will do what He alone can do for Akwa Ibom people.
All right, and so, Honorable Commissioner, gentlemen of the press, we've come to the end of all these interaction, and we thank everybody for the cooperation. It's not easy on a weekday to have these number of reporters and journalists gathered like this. So we sincerely thank you. Honorable Commissioner, what will be your last words to the media community and to these journalists and to Akwa Ibom people in generality?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank the media community. When I came out and I saw the large number of people, the journalists, online, printed here, I said, if it was possible for me to keep all of you here together, till after the election, there will be peace in the state. So, I am very happy to have all of you here. I want to thank you for the support that you have given to His Excellency, the Governor. And I want to urge you that in this year 2019, continue to support the government. You are doing a good work because all the achievement, all the programs of the government, you have a responsibility to cascade it down to our people. And I want to say you are doing it in a great way. So keep it up. And then for Akwa Ibom people, like I will always say, we have no other state other than this Akwa Ibom. And we are not going to have other people from other states, other countries coming to build this state for us. It must take the responsibility of every peace-loving Akwa Ibom person to join hands with His Excellency Governor Demi Manuel to support him to complete the 8 years of his government. And not that he's going to, this time around, is not I will. He has something that he has done. He has brought in peace, he has brought in development. Every aspect of the state economy is feeling the impact of this government. I think today we have a choice to make between darkness and light. Governor Demi Manuel stands for light and is a child of God. And I know Akwa Ibom people, we love God and we love things that are good. And that we are going to stand and support this governor that is doing so well to develop Akwa Ibom State for each and every one of us, so that our generation of Akwa Ibomites get unborn, when they come up and they will know that once upon a time that there was a governor who came in and introduced the Dakada philosophy, which has reawakened the consciousness of every Akwa Ibom person to believe in it or ourselves that everything is possible. I thank you all for coming here, and that come February 6th, you should go out and vote for the umbrella. And all the candidates of our party, from Atiku till Oba, Ezra Chibong, and the rest of them, vote PDP and vote Governor Demi Manuel on the 2nd of March. That is a very big day for this state, that we will choose between light and darkness. But from what I've seen, I have no doubt that all of you are going to stand by Governor Demi Manuel so that he can continue to develop Akwa Ibom State for all of us. May God bless each and every one of us.
Thank you very much. And so, gentlemen, that's where we call it a day. We thank the audience and the large number of persons who participated and this live interaction. We've had so many comments and viewers from our Facebook walls, from Instagram and from Twitter. We thank you exceedingly for having stayed on and for having tuned in to this New Year hangout with the Commissioner in charge of special duties. And we apologize also for some of the other sounds that came in from the audience. It goes to show that it was a big interaction and indeed very, very pleasant. So keep on with the live stream of what comes on the Akwa Ibom State Government page. We'll bring you some of the rallies, we'll bring you some of the campaigns and the rest of them. We thank you exceedingly for staying on. His Excellency Governor Emmanuel will still be quite busy within the period, so we'll bring you up to speed with all the latest developments as far as the state is concerned in the build-up to the general election. So thank you. My name is Daniel Kematfilba. This is what we call it a day on this hangout. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, Honorable Akan Okon, for coming. I think we can take that final handshake, and thank you exceedingly. And to the media community, I think we'll end it with a very big round of applause. Please let's put our hands together for ourselves and we say Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you.